Hello folks, it's Chris Scenery in Studio Land. Welcome to episode 7 on how to build speed in your guitar playing using legato. If this is something that you're interested in, then this is the video for you. Thanks for sticking around. Please give the channel a like and a subscribe. It makes my day. What we've got today is the last 2 exercises in this little series that I've been doing to help build some speed and dexterity and strength in this left hand. Whoops! Is to do with 3rd and 4th fingers. Now, if you remember from episode 1, we did an ascending and descending 3-note per string C major scale with your string wrap or cloth or anything, just to totally eliminate the right hand so that we can focus purely on fingering from nothing and just using left hand strength. So if you've followed this journey so far, you should be getting quite good with this. Now, why I shoot these videos like this as well is with no warm-ups, no practice or anything, so you'll hear all the warts and all on all this, but I normally find for me 10 to 15 minutes of warm-ups running over the backing track, which is in the link below, tightens everything up, and we suddenly get this really nice part of practice where we seem to absorb it and we start to learn and our fingers retain it. So you're not going to get this in 3 or 4 minutes. It's one of these things where you've got to, utilize it over and over on the backing tracks with the other exercises, and you'll be fine, and it will come, promise you, hand on heart, that you'll make success and great goals with this. So like I say, this is working on fingers 3 and 4. So if we look at the D, G, B and E strings, from the C major 3-note per string pattern, we've got 9, 10, 12. Same on the G, 9, 10, 12. Then we've got this little shimmy, this little move where we go 10, 12, 13. So if we look there, we're doing this type of thing. Which causes a little bit of a glitch with a lot of, whether it's something that's whether it's a 3-note run up like that, it's that little shimmy, that lateral movement that causes the glitch. So this is the thing that we're going to practice, and we're going to make that glitch redundant by just focusing on it really. So if we do the exercise starting on the 4th string, we're going to incorporate 4, 3, 2, 1 strings. Stick with this, it'll make sense in a second, and it goes something like this. So it's that variety, that focus of actually sticking on the 3rd and 2nd strings that makes you focus. If you notice, I was glued to that fretboard. I wasn't just letting it flow. It was concentration. And the reason it keeps the concentration is you vary the exercise. So I might do. Then I'll rotate between the 3rd and the 2nd stringers. Maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 repetitions. Then I'll complete the ascending and descending pattern. Then I maybe do 3. And you can see how it starts to lead in. Now the normal glitch for any of these 3-note per string exercises I find over the years is that little position shift that causes that. So again, if I was to try and keep this focus, really keep this attention on it. This is why I vary it, because I'm constantly thinking, well, am I going to do 2 on the 3rd and the 2nd strings? Am I going to do 5? Am I going to do 10? I'll do 3, I'll do 4, I'll do 1, whatever it is, because then that focus is constantly there on your exercise as you go through it, which means you'll learn it and retain it quicker. Whereas if I just repeat the same, repeating the same sequence over and over again is a great way to learn it, but what we want is that little bit of variety in there. So really kicking the ass out of that 3rd and 4th string position. That variety is the secret to getting it in there, and rather than just going over and over like this, which will work, but you only make the shift once when you're ascending and once when you're descending on that exercise. So if you actually isolate that position, what you actually then get is a more intense workout on those 1, 3, 4 fingers. And again, the reason why I don't just stick on the 3rd and 2nd strings is it gets boring, just going over and over. Which is probably a more effective way if you can tolerate that. I just find dipping in and out of it just makes that focus 100% on it for me, really. That's one of the key reasons why I do what I do. That's it for this episode. It's one of those things that you're going to do over the backing track, like I say, which you should find in the description below. Once again, please give us a thumbs up, a like and a comment, and you know, it's great to hear from everybody. The final episode hopefully will be out next week. I am still mega busy. I've got a guy recording a solo album of covers, and he's now told me that he's going to record another 2 albums as well in the studio, which is great. One next year and hopefully one for Christmas songs. So as you can tell from that, that's a lot of work, and I'm going to be pulled out and snowed under for months and months and months to come, but I am still trying to get all this together and finish this little course for you. So there'll be one more exercise for this, and then I'm going to show you how I actually play the whole 8 exercise shebang along to the backing track, and you'll be able to play along with it at a nice comfortable speed, and then you'll see and feel how after so many minutes, once the juices are flowing, this kind of repetitive cycling exercises using just the left hand really does incorporate a lot of speed and dexterity and accuracy in your playing. Okay, so for me, Chris, thanks for watching. Give us a subscribe, like I say. I'll see you next week, and keep on rocking in the free world.